We're dog lovers, so.
Absolutely. We'll have the dogs on. All right. Hey, Fish, we are talking tonight with the Joan Rivers of Twitter. Melissa Kahn is funny and inspiring. Plus, she has run a marathon on the Himalayas after conquering a weight problem. You're going to meet her and you're going to absolutely love her. Now, it is September, so there is so much sports to grind on. The NFL, college football, baseball, playoff predictions, and some insight into the Ryder Cup coming up this week. Plus, we have our Schmuck of the Week and Who's Got the Swag. Plus, we have some betting picks with the Daily Fish Hardline. John Hardison starts his tour with us tonight. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Daily Fish. John Daly here with Eric Snyder, a.k.a. Fish. We are coast to coast coming to you from Las Vegas and Myrtle Beach. We talk sports, entertainment, and everything, and we mean everything in between. Excited about tonight, Fish, huh?
Yeah, two great guests. I'm excited to have John Hardison as part of the team. He's got the Cost of Winning podcast. He knows so much about sports, knows more than I do. You know, that's saying a lot. So welcome to another new team member to Daily Fish.
Looking forward to it, and can't wait to get Melissa on here as well. All right, it's time for the Daily Grind first. NFL Week 2, our weekly picks. Now, last week, I literally stunk. I was 1-4. I had the Giants, Dolphins, Saints, and Chiefs. Thank God for the Cowboys. They saved me from doing an offer. Now, Fish, you went 3-2 for the season. Folks, here's what it is. Fish is 6-4, and I'm a paltry 3-7. Let's try to even it up this week. Here are the 5 picks from this week. Chargers at Chiefs. I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this.
Well, I want to go against you, but I can't. I don't see the Chiefs losing 2 games in a row at home, and it was so out of character when Allaire fumbled against Baltimore. By the way, John, we're going to get this grind going. Well, what great drama Sunday was for football. If you watch football in those afternoon games.
Absolutely.
Am I right, John? Dallas and the Chargers, Minnesota, Arizona, Seattle, and the Titans. Some of those games went in overtime, all last-second kicks. But that Baltimore game, I don't see the Chiefs losing 2 in a row.
I agree. All right, Bengals at the Steelers. Who do you got?
I got the Steelers. I like the Bengals. I think Zach Taylor sometimes takes some risks, and Joe Burrow had a tough game last week against the Bears. Their defense has improved, but I think the Steelers bounce back.
I do too. I got the Steelers as well. Okay, Bucks at the Rams. I got the Rams.
I'm going with the Bucks. I'm going against you on this one. Until I see they've won 8 or 10 in a row. John will tell us that since their Super Bowl run. And Tom Brady threw 5 touchdown passes. I mean, he's playing better now at 44 than he was at 25. Tampa Bay for me.
I hear you. I'm just I got an inkling. That's all. All right, Seahawks at the Vikings. Who do you got?
I got the Vikings. I mean, the Vikings should have won that game. The guy misses a 33-yard field goal. What a game that was. God. Again, real quick, I'm going to say this. If the 2 guys for MVP right now are Derek Carr and Kyler Murray, was phenomenal in that game. But Minnesota should have won. I don't see them. The Seahawks have a lot of problems on defense.
I think they do too, but I think the Seahawks bounce back, so I'm going with the Seahawks. Okay, final one. Packer at the 49ers. I got the Pack.
I'll go with the Niners. I believe, Jonathan, I think Jimmy Garoppolo now is 24-8 as a starter between New England and the 49ers. He's 1 pass away from possibly winning a Super Bowl 2 years ago. He's managing the game right, and I love their defense. Again, the Niners have injury problems, John. They lost another running back today in practice. Raheem Mostert's already out. I like the 49ers to win this game, though.
Okay, that's why I stink at my picks. All right, remember we have the Hard Line with John Hardison coming up in a few minutes with some betting picks for you as well. Next, how about the Emmys and the fascinating results? Ted Lasso and Queen's Gambit, 2 of our binge watch choices right here, cleaned up. But Fish, the question is, who watched that show? Did anybody?
Yeah, the ratings were up. There was 7.4 million people watch it. It was up 16% from last year. And I binge watched Ted Lasso and talked about it. And Jason Sudeikis won Best Actor. Hannah Waddingham, I can't pronounce her last name. I'm horrible at names. Best Supporting Actress, phenomenal. And my favorite character on TV, okay, it's Roy Kent, played by Brett Goldstein, one of the players. He wins Best Supporting Actor. So bravo to that show. It's terrific. It's on Apple TV. And of course, now because of its notoriety at the Emmys, maybe more people will watch.
Well, like we were saying before, all good new programming, it's going to streaming. So it was kind of a confirmation of it. All right, next. 10 games left in the baseball regular season. Your picks, Fish. Give them to me.
Well, before the season, I picked the Dodgers and I picked the Yankees. Okay. The AL to me is wide open. That race, and you're a big Red Sox fan, that race for the wild card or even the division. I mean, I think Tampa's got the division, but the wild card between the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Yankees is phenomenal. 2 of the wild cards are going to come out of that. The Dodgers are winning the World Series. They've overcome all these injuries. Plus, John, Cody Bellinger's having a real off year. This is the MVP 2 years ago. So I got the Dodgers. You?
And they're still winning. And I'm still the same way. I still got the Dodgers winning it all. My surprise team may be the Brewers because of their pitching, but we'll see. Playoffs are a different story than the regular season. But like you, I'm beginning to think my Red Sox might actually be peaking at the right time, actually getting healthy. They actually look halfway decent, and they're beginning to get a lot of players back. All right. And finally on the grind, the Ryder Cup. Who do you got, Fish?
You know what? I'm USA. We've lost 7 out of the last 8 Ryder Cups. I told you in our rehearsal that I'm into the Ryder Cup more than any major. I love this event. Tiger Woods says he loves the Ryder Cup more than any major or tournament he plays in. I'm really into this. I like Steve Stricker. I like our team that we have. And again, we've lost 7 out of 8 to the Europeans. Now, it's a European sport. I get that. They started this sport. But we as Americans are ignorant and arrogant. We want to win everything. So I'm going with the Americans. What about you?
I'm with you there. Let me give you a little bit more. The intrigue and the drama of the U.S. team with DeChambeau and Koepka, I think it's overblown. The team really reacts and works more in pods of 4 players working together than the entire team. Now, granted, like you said, the Europeans are actually better at team events like alternating shot and best ball, and we excel in the individual. But at the same time, too, the European Union, they ain't tight anymore. Look at Brexit, right? So why am I picking the U.S.? It's a little bit like what you're saying here. Here's the answer. It's Paul Azinger. But he's not the captain, right? No, Steve Stricker is. And Stricker is friends with Azinger. He worked with Azinger during the 2008 Ryder Cup at Valhalla in Louisville. I was there about 8 weeks before the Ryder Cup playing in a celebrity golf event for Blessings in a Backpack. Azinger actually showed up and he totally took the course's deep rough. He chopped it all down so that the U.S. long ball hitters could let fly and they would not have poor lies going into the green. They had better shots, better approaches. The course was geared to their game. Stricker is doing the same thing right now with Whistling Straits. Plus, it's also course knowledge. The U.S. finally has a course knowledge again. Why? Well, because the team is there early practicing. Why? Because the PGA season ended early this year for the first time, thanks to the new FedEx Cup schedule. I think there's going to be a big difference there. So here's what I'm saying. Get ready for some U.S. flag waving this weekend, Fish. And you agree with me, obviously.
I do. I absolutely do.
All right, cool. Hey, folks, questions or comments during the show, use the chat box here or email us at dailyfish1@gmail.com. You can also post to Facebook at daily.fish.5. Better yet, record yourself short, tight, and horizontal on your smartphone and send it to dailyfish1@gmail.com. All right, it's time for some binge watching. Fish, what you binging?
You know what? I don't know why I love Apple TV so much. Maybe because this show is going to be on it soon. I'm watching Mr. Corman with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. This is the guy most of you know. He played Robin in one of the recent Batman movies, but he plays a 5th grade teacher that has anxiety issues, sexual issues. He's bipolar. He was in a rock band, and he self-inflicted his life by just having a major meltdown. And he has problems with his mother, played by Deborah Winger. That's all I'm going to say. It's terrific. And he writes and directs most of the episodes.
Wow, that's great. Great new pick, by the way. I'm going to go old school again. I'm binging the Pink Panther movies with Peter Sellers. Does your doggy bite? That's not my dog. Sure, it kind of makes fun of the French, and Inspector Clouseau calls his house assistant Cato his little yellow friend. So there is some politically incorrect stuff from there from the 70s and 80s, but still, there's a ton of laugh out loud stuff. Now, the Pink Panther Strikes Again is my favorite film if you're going to watch just one. The other would be Shot in the Dark with Elkie Summers. And just so you know, Clouseau is my alter ego. Aha, now we are getting somewhere. See, although Fish, I got to tell you, your mustache made you look like Clouseau. I think together we are Peter Sellers.
Wait a minute. You think that guy is Clouseau?
That's just what I said.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest schmuck of the week we've ever had on there, but that's another story. Pink Panther movies are great. Great. I love it. Good. I'm glad, you're educating people because that came out a long time ago and I watched it. But now let's get the younger viewers to get up there and watch it. They'll love it. They'll love the dry sense of humor.
Oh, It's unbelievable. 70s and 80s humor. It was great. So I really, if you're in your 20s, you need to go back and take a look at this. That's for sure. And there is something fishy about you and me being Peter Sellers, by the way. So, but we have something else that's also fishy too. The TV spots during sporting events. Explain that.
Here comes the glasses off.
Uh-oh.
Because I thought we were done with this. 1998. I'm covering the Raiders for America Online. The first preseason game they have on TV is nationally televised. John Gruden's first year. They're playing the Green Bay Packers. It's live on CBS. Fox. Forgot whoever hadn't worked for at the time. I'm so pissed off. And here comes a commercial with this mother cardigan sweater, the daughter cardigan sweater on this pristine lake. And the little girl, well, not girl, she's a teenage girl, says to her mom, "Mom, do you ever get this unfresh feeling?" And the mother says, "Honey, you have to douche." It was a commercial for Massengale. So I throw up because you don't put those kind of goddamn commercials on during a football game. I'm not kidding. You're laughing at this, right? Let's fast forward to now. Okay. I'm watching a preseason game on the NFL Network. And here comes a guy, and he's got this tool. And he goes, "Do you have problems manscaping? Are you bushy down there?" And you hear the buzz go on. You see this is what? Watch my expression on my face. Like Bob from those Enzyme commercials. Remember what if you couldn't get a hard on? He was a Bob. I mean, this is what it's all about. Is erectile dysfunction? Is manscaping? Is you have to douche? Look. You know me. I'm not a prude. I'm a sick bastard. But okay, bring me the beer commercials. Bring me the Ford truck commercials. Bring me Serena Williams hitting tennis balls and knock John McEnroe over. I don't want to talk about douches anymore on football games. All right, that to me is really fishy.
That is, and just by the way, just so if you can see my glass, it's got Peyronie's disease. We weren't going to talk about that. That's right. All right. No. All right, everybody, still ahead. Our schmuck of the week is into dangerous self-measuring. We're going to tie into that too. Plus, we also got Who's Got the Swag. All right, time now for the Daily Fish Hardline. Joining us is John Hardison from the podcast, The Cost of Winning, giving us fantasy and betting insight. John, welcome. Great to have you on the show. Is he coming in? There he is. John, great to have you, buddy.
Thanks for having me, guys.
See that little banner for you, buddy?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you deserve it.
That's great. John, let's start with college. Tennessee versus Florida. Florida's coming off a tough loss to Bama. What do you got?
That was the best Florida team I've seen in quite some time. Definitely a heartbreaker. They were inches away from being Alabama, the number one team in the nation, a team that's been the perennial team in college football for almost the last 10 years. I mean, they are the standard now. And to put them on the edge of their seat, to me, they're neck and neck in the SEC East as being the best team next to Georgia. And I think looking at Tennessee, what I've seen the last couple of games from Tennessee, it's the same old Tennessee team. Wishing Peyton Manning was coming back through that tunnel, but he's not on his way anytime soon. I got Florida winning this game.
You got a spread on it?
I got a spread. They got Florida minus 20. I tell you, take a money line. Just take the money line. It's a little less on money for you, but it's better than Tennessee scoring a garbage touchdown on you.
You wouldn't tease any part of that game, would you? You wouldn't tease
I wouldn't
it down
tease it.
Tease it up? Okay.
I wouldn't tease it because if Florida's up and they're dominating, they're going to put that second string in, and Tennessee's probably going to try and close that gap just a little bit, but they're not going to come in anywhere close to scaring them, but they'll probably end up making it about a 17-point game.
All right. Nebraska versus Michigan State. Let me say, I thought Martinez, the quarterback for Nebraska, I watched that Oklahoma game last week. I thought it was terrific. What do you like?
I like Michigan State in this game. Michigan State has had two very hard games. They went to Miami, and if anybody's ever gone to the old Orange Bowl or they've gone down to Hard Rock Stadium, it's hard to here and there. It's a difficult crowd to deal with. And the fact that they went in there and had an explosion in the third quarter. I mean, it was neck and neck going into that third quarter, and they took it over. They're a great team. They rushed the ball. They've got one of the top rushers. MSU right now has the number one rushing back at NCAA. You wouldn't have thought about that, but he's almost at 500 yards this season so far. I'm going with Michigan State. I'll take the money line and the points with them being -5.
All right. Oregon State, USC coming back with an interim coach. Actually had a good second half against Wazoo last week.
Very good second half. Watch that game. They struggled at the beginning of the game, kind of getting tempo, kind of trying to figure out their identity, but they ended up pulling it off at the end. Oregon State and USC right now are flying high. I mean, they're putting up points in the Pac-12 like nobody's business. I like that game. I like the over in that game at 62.5.
Great. Well, let's go to the NFL right now. We got the Washington football team going into Buffalo. I like Taylor Heineke. I think he's earned a chance to probably start. What do you think?
Taylor Heineke, he's the guy to start until he proves otherwise right now. But in this game, I like Buffalo. What they did to Miami last week, putting that punishment down on them, they've looked good. Josh Allen has tried to force a little bit of his throws. But looking how bad Washington played against New York last week, I got to go with Buffalo. There's no way I can give Washington the benefit of the doubt. You know, Terry McLaurin, he's going to get his points in fantasy. He's going to go out there. He's going to score touchdowns for you. But I just don't see Washington being able to close that gap in terms of talent that they have. When you're talking about Allen, you're talking about Diggs, they can run the ball in Buffalo with Moss. They're putting up really good numbers. And they're the number 2 defense right now in the NFL, only giving up 234 yards a game.
I want to bet that game. I would bet the under on that game. What about you?
I'm going under on that game. I don't think that it's going to be a lot of points by Buffalo, but I think because they can control the pace running the ball, I think that that's where they're going to find their strength, and I think that they're going to win. But I take the under on that one.
All right, Jets, Broncos. Jets look absolutely miserable. Are they just getting used to a young new quarterback, or is this the way it's going to be the rest of the year?
It's rookie blues. I mean, this is welcome. He's definitely, Mr. Wilson has had his welcome to the NFL moment. Especially last week playing the New England Patriots. Look, that line is awful that the Jets have. He's been sacked 10 times in 2 games. He's thrown 5 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. The Broncos got a top 3 defense. I got to take the Broncos on this. There's no way. Their money line right now is minus 650. Like I've got to take the Broncos in this. Wow. I would even take the Broncos on the points at plus 10.5.
Minus 650?
Minus 650.
Wow, that's a Westgate, yeah. And then my favorite team, I mean, the Dolphins and the Raiders have injury concerns. We don't know right now, and you live in Vegas, if Derek Carr is going to play. They're being very hush-hush on that. And then Tua Tagovailoa has that rib issue. So would you stay away from this game, or would you bet it money line, or would you bet the under? What do you like on this?
I take the under on this. I like the money line on this, minus 180. I do think the Raiders being at home, they're 2-0. If they can get Josh Jacobs back, which is kind of the question leading into this, I think that they've got a really good shot. Looking at the way Miami played last week, they can't stop a cold. They can barely score at all. Myles Gaskins isn't doing anything. Instead of using Gesicki the way that they were last year, where they were using him as more of a passing tight end, this year they're using him more as a blocking tight end. So that takes more out of your offense as well. I like the Raiders in this game. I think Carr comes back. I think that he's able to put up the points that he's used to right now. And I mean, the one thing about the Raiders I like, they're airing it out this season. They're not taking the approach of, run first seed. They're letting it rip. And 2 quality wins, well, 1 quality win, I'll say, against Pittsburgh, going to Pittsburgh, definitely changed my opinion. The game against the Baltimore Ravens kind of had me a little worried, but, they ended up pulling it out at the end, and you're going to get some games like that.
All right. Someone asked me about their survivor pool last week, and I said, take the Chiefs over the Ravens. I'm glad they went the other way. They didn't take my advice. Any suggestion on a survivor pool for this week, a pick?
If you got the Broncos available, take the Broncos. Anybody that's playing the Jets, take who's ever playing against them if you can. I don't see this getting any better. I just see them getting a top 3 pick in this year's draft coming up again. They're just missing a lot of pieces right now.
If you had a bet on a run line, or just bet the last 10 games of the baseball season between Toronto, the Yankees, and the Red Sox, what 2 teams would you bet on to get that wild card?
You know what? I know that I'm a Yankees fan, so I got to pull with the Yankees. I got to pull with my boys. But I like what Toronto's put together, what Vlad Jr. has put together. He's made a case to be the AL MVP. He's definitely in the running right now. Those would be my 2 picks. Well, how much offense they're putting together right now.
All right. I'm a Red Sox fan. We'll have to talk about this later. That's for sure. And that is the Daily Fish Hardline with John Hardison of the Cost of Winning podcast. You can find him here with us, but also he's on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. John, thanks so much. We're going to see you next week, buddy.
See you next week, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Folks, Daily Fish is live on Facebook Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We air on DBNA television on Roku, Amazon Fire, and soon, as Fish said, Apple TV. We stream 24/7 on the DBNA television website. Follow us and like us at Facebook at daily.fish.5. And you can subscribe to us on YouTube and also check us out on the Myrtle Beach Golf Channel as well. All right, now it's time for our Schmuck of the Week. Who's been schmucky this week, Fish?
Okay, this is a tough one because I don't know how to word this. You're going to have to help me. You're more of the elocution of dialogue when it comes to things. This is a USB cable, okay? And we're going to use it to measure hardness. The University College Hospital in London treated a 15-year-old boy who decided to insert the smaller part of the USB cable into his urethra, the opening of this penis. For Melissa and everyone out there, oy vey, this is heresy. What is this kid thinking? All right, it's unbelievable. He's a schmuck. He doesn't know better. Let me tell you what we used when we were younger. This is you're laughing at. Now this is John. This is probably John. I don't know. I hear this is probably John when he's not on Jameson. This is John when he's on Jameson. Okay, me. The luxury of having the some of the Yiddish background, I had what's called a bris. They celebrate cutting part of your dick off in the Jewish religion. It's not a celebration, okay? So you can start out like this, and you're already this when you're a baby. I don't get it. And everyone cries, and they have big matzah, and they have chopped liver and all that crap that you for that thing. This kid, what's wrong with this kid, John? And what's he thinking? And they had to take the thing out. They had to call surgeons in from India. I mean, I look, it's not a funny thing. I'm trying to say things. Look, my dad, I have two dads. My biological father, he passed away years ago, and I have a stepdad. My biological father, he was a schmuck sometimes. He said to me and my brothers, guys, if you don't think you have a big dick, get with a smaller girl like 4'11", because her hands are small. So I'm telling this kid, don't worry about the size of your unit. Just date girls that are midgets.
Maybe he was trying to plug into his Apple computer, though. I mean, that's the thing. And there's a lot of good Moyle jokes, and I'm going to let go now. All right. So let's see this week's Who's Got the Swag. Who are we celebrating this week, Vish?
I love this girl. This is the better story. This is Lucy. I'm sorry, Lacey. Lacey Kuiper. I'm in love with this young lady. She was born with osteogenesis imperfecta type 5, where she could break her bones easily, John. And she told a local Fox station in Independence, Missouri, that she wanted to have her second year cheering. She's a cheerleader, but Truman School is keeping her from being with the team. The reason behind the school's restriction, John, is that she claims she was told to steward to her wheelchair, potentially damaging the turf. Quote, they don't want my wheels, I guess, to be too hard on the turf. Quote, but even for the basketball gym, they said no. I was like, that's a floor that I all the time. Lacey's father, Charles, is totally against what the school is doing. All the outlet won't do anything to allow his daughter to join the team in the field this season. So the independent school district released a statement on the matter saying it cannot explain its side of things due to having consent with Lacey's parents. You know what? Blasphemy on you guys. Let this, she's got the fact that the kids want it. She's got our swag of the week, and she's also a hero to Daily Fish. Yep.
Yeah, I definitely want to see what the real story is when they do talk about it. But at the same time, too, Lacey is definitely our toast of the week, and we're going to toast her with our drink of the week. So, Fish, we're sipping on something from our guest, Melissa Kahn. Talk about it.
The Chi-Chi Margarita. I mean, it's a Chi-Chi Margarita. Mine, I made it with tangerine tequila, the sour mix, a little bit of triple sec, and I put a dash of Grand Marnier to make it, like you said, John, a Cadillac margarita. But this is courtesy of our guest coming up, Melissa Kahn.
All right, let's bring Melissa on now so we can actually toast with her. Melissa, welcome to the show. And
welcome. Hello.
And cheers.
L'chaim to you.
Aye.
Yes. And to Lacey. The Lacey and Melissa.
To you, Lacey.
Hey, Lacey, fight the good fight. Keep going, kid.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Hey, Chi-Chi's Margarita kind of ties into everything you do because it's low cal and it's high in vitamins, right?
And Chi-Chi's.
Yeah. There you go. You got to go with that. All right.
Took him a minute.
All right. Before we dive into the rest of Melissa's story, let's take care of our sponsors. First, our Daily Fish Drink of the Week is sponsored by Schmuck's Tavern in Vegas. Great seafood and drinks in 2 locations. Head to the Schmuck's Tavern on North Durango on the northwest side of town, where fish is every night overnight. Say Daily Fish Podcast, you get a free drink. Do it the next day, a free appetizer. That is Schmuck's Tavern. Check out Schmuck's Tavern on Facebook. Also in Vegas. If you're in pain, you got to go to this place, Medsonics. The sound wave technology relieves pain, and it's non-invasive. You sit there for 20 minutes, and you relax. I've used it before. It works. Plus, it helps with jet lag, too. The technology will soon be all over the country. Go to medsonics.com. That's spelled MEDSONIX, medsonics.com. Al is the inventor owner. Tell him Daily Fish sent you. All right, let's get a little bit more on Melissa Kahn. We call her the Joan Rivers of Twitter, which is a great compliment since we love Joan Rivers. Her Twitter handle is Melissa Kahn, Kahn 7. You can follow her for some funny and also inspiring stuff. Melissa overcame obesity and the emotional weight of a dysfunctional childhood. She shed more than 100 pounds. She's a marathoner, a cyclist, while also being a mom to 4. She started Run Heifer Run to help others who are struggling to get healthier habits. Her websites, which we'll mention again and again, are runheiferrun.com and also the Ordinarymarathonerfoundation.org. Melissa, again, great to have you on here.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to be here. Hey, before we get, hey, wait a minute. Did somebody just fart?
Fish.
Fish, was that you?
Yeah.
Did you eat beans again? The bean and wieners?
Well, I'm going to tell the story because we want to download some of your tweets. So instead, we'll talk about some of my queefs. We're interviewing. Okay, I'm going to put myself under the bus. We're interviewing Melissa. I'll make a long story short. And we do a phone interview to see if she wants to be on Daily Fish. Now, I have to take a monster dump. So I'm in the bathroom. And I have the phone in my shorts. And there's things flying into the toilet. And there's sounds coming from me. I flush the toilet. Nothing. I walk out. I go in my living room. I put the phone like this. Put the phone to my... And I fart. And there's this awkward pause. And John goes, "Fish, did you fart?" And I blame him. Yeah, I did it. I'll take it. I farted.
You farted. It's okay.
And you didn't even admit it either. So you finally admit it. That's good. That's good.
What a weird.
Melissa called me back and she... Well, Melissa called me back and she says, "I can't believe that he farted right on the phone with me." And I said, he's like that around beautiful women. So
I was a bit offended and impressed.
I'm all about being accountable. I talk about being accountable. And I wimped out. I was a big pussy and I apologize to Melissa. But what can you do? Now I'm owning up to it in front of 50,000 viewers.
There you go. All good. All good.
We want to get into your background, and I want to show some of the folks your tweets. I started following you. It had to be maybe about a year ago or so, and I just said to Fish, "Okay, we got to reach out to her." So I want to put up some of your tweets so people can actually take a look at them. What's that,
John? We don't have her. I just told you we don't have her tweets. The tweets didn't download.
Oh, they didn't.
No, you got to read your private chat, buddy. Yeah. So
all right, you don't have her tweets. Not downloading. That's what
I feel a little triggered here, but whatever.
Oh well, okay. Well, we're gonna have to. Well, you got to go to Melissa Kahn 7 and go look at her tweets because she's hysterical. Do you have any funny tweets off the top of your head that you remember? Because you actually, I would say almost every day you got something either very inspiring or you got something knock down, drag out, hilarious.
Yeah, so it started out where I started my Twitter page to promote Run Heifer Run, to make friends in the running community, and it really snowballed for me. I met a lot of great people, and throughout a couple of years, I did all the athletic things, and then COVID hit, so I decided to stay home, eat some donuts, and so now I've switched my feed to mostly irreverent potty humor, 6-year-old humor, dad jokes, whatever. Exactly, because it works, and oddly, some of it comes from my mind, some of it comes from quotes. Other people post stuff. I'm like, hey, this is too hilarious. So I just think life's too short to be taken seriously. So let's just all cut it up, and no one's getting out of this alive. So
yeah, that's what Mark Twain said. You quoted Mark Twain. I love you.
I know, I'm intellectual too.
You are intellectual, so you have a wonderful sense of humor. We talked to you before the show. I'm sweating. I'm laughing so hard. What's your inspiration for your sense of humor? Is it just something that comes natural? Do you read a lot? What do you think it comes from in your diaphragm?
Well, I had that taken out when I wanted to get pregnant. No, honestly, I think it comes from, the dysfunctional childhood and finding a coping mechanism. So what do? We self-deprecating humor is always a good way to get out of any situation. And it just works for me. I'm sarcastic by nature, straight face, tell people just fuck off. And they look at me like, I don't know. Is she serious? I don't know. But what you see is what you get. So my Twitter is in fact a representation of who I am. So I'm random, at work. They just look at me and just kind of shake their heads. And people who've met me, I've met a lot of my Twitter friends, and they're all like, oh yeah, you're worse in person. It's just, it's my gift.
Do you have to be careful on Twitter as far as haters? Because I think you're self-deprecating quite a bit, but at the same time too, you'll take some shots at some people.
I try and play it easy. I don't do religion, politics, some current events, but I stay. Everybody complains of Twitter's cesspool. It's all full of hatred and politics. Just don't follow those people, and if they want to get political on my feed, well, it's my feed. I just delete you, block you, and go on with my day. Fuck off. I'm all about just let's be fun. Let's inspire each other. Let's lift each other up. One of my themes is just kindness. It takes 2 seconds to smile at somebody. And I think because of the way I grew up and all the trauma and everything else that pursue throughout my life, I think that it's the one cross I want to bear is let's be kind to each other. It could be free. You could buy a Starbucks if you're rich like Fish, you could buy, a Big Mac extra value meal for people. You could do anything to make somebody's day better. So why wouldn't you do it? And that's really what I try and get across in between all of my dad jokes.
Right. I would hire you as a bartender in a second because you got the personality and you don't talk religion, you don't talk politics. Never talk that when you're behind the bar. So if a guy, you're married, but if a guy was to ask you on a date, how tough are you when you want on a date with a guy? Because you're tough. I love your veneer. I mean, you're the kind of woman that I guarantee you, if it was on Match.com and you met a guy, you looked at him and said, that's not your goddamn profile picture. Take the drink and throw it in his face and walk out of the bar. Is that you?
Yeah, you know what? You just nailed me right there. It is absolutely me. I mean, my husband is British, so the only way we get along well is because the British cunning, sarcastic banter, if you will, is worse. It's biting, and then they followed up with no, that wasn't funny. That was me, you motherfucker. But so your
husband's British. Does that look familiar?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Oh wow. So
yeah.
Your story is so wonderful and so inspiring that you had a weight problem, and America is the fattest country on the planet.
Yeah.
And you tackled your weight problem. Tell us the causes of this and how you did it. What caused this to become a problem in your life, and inspire our audience in the ways you tackled it.
Life caused it, really. Food became a coping mechanism to deal with misery, abuse, neglect, all those things. Food became my best friend. Up on my blog, I've written many articles, some of which have gone viral, which is kind of cool. I'm just the fat chick from elementary school. When we played dodgeball, they always aimed for my glasses, and I had the tape. And it was legit. It was horrible. So, it started at a young age, and food became my friend, my companion. I would, lay on the couch on a Friday night and have my date was a large Domino's pizza. I would watch MTV, The Real World. I mean, that dates me slightly, but I would sit there and just eat my pizza and be happy. And it just continued up until one day I looked in the mirror and I was wearing stripes. It was actually Rosh Hashanah, and I looked at one of my family members. I'm like, why do you tell me fat people shouldn't wear stripes? What is this going on? And he's like, you're pretty fat too. So I drove straight to the Jenny Craig Center and started a little bit of a weight loss journey. And it ended me up with about 110-pound weight loss and some cool opportunities as a result. But, COVID hit, and then I discovered like Donut Day, buy 6, get 6 free. So, I apologize to America. Run Heifer Run will be making a comeback because I got to run off these donuts.
There you go. So how'd you get into running? Talk about that, because that's a fascinating story, and then what it led to.
Yeah, not a fan of running. So what happened is, a good friend of mine at the time, she called me up, and this was after I had lost the weight, and she said, "All right, bitch, I'm gonna challenge you." And I thought, well, I don't like challenges. I just like things given to me. And she said, I'm signing you up for the Phoenix Half Marathon. And I hung up on her, and I said, bye. Can't hear you. Click. And then the next day I thought, oh, you know what? I hate her. Fuck it. And I signed up for it. And I started training, and having been overweight my whole life, so I had to deal with arthritis in both my knees, and everything hurts, and I'm dying. I want to go to Miami. It was just shit. I hated it. I hated every step.
I want to go to Palm Springs.
Right. Yeah, Beverly. Anyway, so I started running. I started training, and again, hated every minute of it. But there's that runner's high, which I've yet to get. People talk about it. I'm still waiting for it, but I believe it's there. It may be somewhere else, but I just kept going, and I finished the first race. And you get that high when you're done a race. And so everybody said, well, what are you going to do next? And I was like, oh, fuck, I just signed up for another one. I didn't want to, but my hand hit click on, enroll. And I was like, oh shit. So then I became addicted to it. It was better addiction than food. And I met some incredible people. And then a friend of mine, I love her dearly. She lives in backwoods Tennessee, where they still have a black church and a white church, to give you an idea. And she phoned me up and she said, run, heifer, run. And I was like, ding, 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 ding. Now that has a ring to it. So I bought the .com, .org, .net, blah, blah, blah. And I asked all my Facebook people, if I start blogging about this bullshit, will you read it? And there was an overwhelming response, which surprised me, because I'm just like the fat chick who got hit in the head with the dodgeball all the time. So I started the blog, and suddenly it started gaining momentum. And so then I started, my Twitter account, and became friends with all these people that were just out there in the Twitter land. And my husband was one of them. I actually met him through Run Heifer Run and ended up marrying him.
Oh, it's great.
Wow.
Yep, I didn't give him the choice. I just said, I'll pick you.
Right. Well, by the way, Daly Fish, Melissa is appearing at the Laugh Factory this Thursday night in West Hollywood. 2-drink minimum, midnight show. Try the veal. What's so intriguing to me and so special is that you ran in the Himalayas, which is what, 20,000 feet above sea level.
20,000 leagues under the sea. It's So what happened? That was crazy.
How does it? You can't breathe in Denver. How do you breathe in 20,000 feet?
Yeah, not easily. I'll tell you that. So I approached a couple major companies, and I thought, well, okay. I had chatted these people up on Twitter. Twitter is, the base of everything. They were chatting me up, and I said, well, okay, you want me to come there and do it? And their sense of humor is even more biting than the British shit I live with. And so they were rough. And so they basically said, no, you can't do it. And I thought, oh God, I hate these challenges. So I sent a letter to a couple big corporations. One of them was all in. They said, my God, we want to sponsor you. We want to pay you to do this. And I thought, wait, not only am I going to go, you're going to pay for it. And then I get some swag and, some Indian shit. So I went and I trained for a year. Nepali shit, to be fair. They're close. They're on the border. So I trained. I'm afraid of heights, and I'm also afraid of mountain bikes, because these were a couple $1,000s. I didn't want to break them on the fall down. And so I struggled tremendously during training, and it was very humbling, actually. And I posted all my struggles online because I really feel like people oftentimes like to sugarcoat it, that social media fairy tale life that everybody lives. And I was more like crying, like, this shit sucks and I broke a nail and what am I going to do? And so people, they related to my humor perhaps, or they related to my struggle. And, the world loves a good story. The world wants to root people on. And so I found that to be true in this case. And so the next thing I knew, I was on a plane to Nepal. And it was just absolutely insane. Like, the fat kid with the taped up glasses, suddenly, I'm, this public social media situation, and everyone's like, oh, you're Melissa Kahn. And, oftentimes people, I met somebody in the airport and they were like, oh, this was in Nashville. They said, you're Melissa Kahn. And, I never know what to say. I'm like, not really. No, because I don't know what the hell they want. No, I'm not. Why? It depends why you're asking. So it was an incredible journey. It led to a lot of self-discovery, and it was great. The food wasn't so great. But, the heifer situation, they have cows all over, and you see it in the media, but you don't know, is it really true unless you go there. But Nepal is still a developing third world country. And so they still have damage from the earthquake years and years ago. And these emaciated cows are roaming the streets, and there's no lane when you drive. You just like that. And so then you got to like dodge the cows, and there is no cow tipping because they're so weak. They tip on their own. It's not really fun. So it was an incredible journey. It was really humbling. It was very difficult, and it kind of sucked, but it was a great learning experience, and something that, it was a once in a lifetime chance. My one bucket list item, aside from marry a British dude, was go to Mount Everest. And there I was.
Wow.
So, yeah.
All right. This is Daily Fish. We are talking to Melissa Kahn. Follow her at MelissaKahn7 on Twitter. Melissa overcame obesity and emotional weight of a dysfunctional childhood, shedding more than 100 pounds, becoming a runner. Check her site out called Run Heifer Run, which is at runheiferrun.com, where she helps other people trying to find healthy lifestyles. She also helps with the Ordinarymarathonerfoundation.org. So do you have any big running events coming up, or are you just waiting to get to the end of the pandemic?
Is it going to end?
Good question.
I don't know. You know what? I am considering a big comeback. I need to get back involved, and I've done, little things here and there. I'm not sure what my next race will be. It's really going to be like coming out of retirement, if you will. I mean, my knees hurt, my feet hurt. My body is definitely reacting to having gained weight. And so I think it's going to be really painful. But, what better way to inspire people to say, well, okay, I did it once and then I got fat again and now I got to do it again. Shit. And so I think I'm going to do it. I'm not sure how, I'm not sure where, but there could be something big in the works. I guess you just have to watch my Twitter.
All right.
Yeah. What about your family? I mean, the kids, how do you juggle all this, being a mom, and how supportive are the kids? Or you're just doing this and saying, you know what? Guess what, guys? Yeah, you just have to go on the ride with me.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I think honestly, they're so bored of my shtick. They're like, she's on another podcast. She's doing some shit. I don't think they pay attention anymore. They're, 3 of them are in college. One of them's a junior in high school, and I think that, they're bored with it. They're like, yeah, but what's for dinner, bitch? They don't care, And if I go out of town, they're more like, well, are there pizza rolls in the fridge? And who's going to feed the dog? I think that, maybe when they're older, they'll look back and say, wow, she did something cool. And I try mostly just to live as an example, not to preach to them, oh, you need to be into physical fitness and blah, blah, blah. I just go do my thing, and I try not to preach it, because I've never met a teenager who liked to be preached at and who listened. So, I hope one day they look back and they're like, dude, that's my mom. That day has not come yet. They're still in the make me a sandwich, bitch. But maybe one day they will look back and say, wow, she did something really cool. And I hope that legacy is continued after I die on a hill in Nepal. Yeah.
Well, you will, and they will, and they're proud of you. Trust me on that. But you did the Himalayas. Is there something in your bucket list besides marrying a British guy to go somewhere else in the world and run? China, Japan, Russia, Afghanistan?
Thank you. No, I was just in Kabul. It was a lovely vacation spot. No, you just run dodging. No, that's awful. That's not even fair.
If you were in Kabul, you were definitely running. He goes, we got the 1232, the one Jew, the one heavy Jew, go get her.
I'm not really sure. I'm thinking maybe a half Ironman will be my finale. I'll probably die out there, but what a great story that would be. I'm not sure yet. I need to see where it goes, and I need to see who wants to come on the ride with me, and get on board, and we'll see. I'm not really sure yet, but I'm open. I'm definitely open. A
big fan of the show. Craig Persky is a 61-year-old triathlete. Have you ever thought of doing a mini triathlon? Is that something in the back of your mind?
That's what I did in Nepal. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was a real brother. That's great. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I see how hard this guy is. One of my best friends. I see how hard this guy trains with the swimming and the biking and the running, and kudos to you, because it's so hard on your body. But no, seriously, the training is just as hard. I see what he goes through, and I wish my back would allow me to do it, because I was once a good athlete, but now I complain too much. So,
I complain the whole time. But the thing is that you train not so that you don't feel the pain. You train so that you can tolerate the pain, right? So that it's not new. And I'm the biggest whiner. I would go out with my Run Heifer Run ladies every day at 4 a.m. to run, or every other day. And, they were way more excited about it than I was. And they call me the head heifer. And I'm the one going, can we cancel? I want to sleep in and have a donut. And they'd be coming to my house, banging on the door at 4 a.m. Get your ass out of bed, woman. Triathlon is hard. I mean, just in and of itself, each portion is difficult. And you add all three together, and by the time you're done, you're exhilarated, like when you wake up the next morning alive and you're like, oh, I did it. But during the race, for me anyway, it's just pure hell. Yeah. And I think there's something cathartic in that, though, too. You put yourself through what you think you can't survive, and suddenly you realize you can survive. Like I didn't, I did really shitty in Nepal, but you know what? It changed my life, because I realized if I could do those things, I could come home and divorce an abusive husband. If I could go to Mount Everest, Nepal, whatever, and accomplish this, and swim in this lake full of dead Sherpas, or I don't know what was in there. I could do anything. And so it's amazing what you do when you put your mind to it. You just have to actually do it, put your mind to it, and follow through. So accountability in public is great, because then you have an entire Twitter world saying, well, did you run today, Mel? Well, what do you do? And so suddenly you're like, okay, now I'm accountable, not just to myself, my family, but my Twitter family as well. And some people don't take it that seriously, but I've made some tremendous lifelong friends just from Run Heifer Run. And, it's been incredible. It's been really neat.
So when you get together with your yentas in the morning and you do your Run Heifer Run, how long does it last before one or two of them says, oh my God, there's a Starbucks in the corner. I want a vanilla latte. Does that happen? Or you're telling them, no, stop the bullshit. We're going to continue to run. No, we're going to have a scone and a latte. You keep going. That happens all the time?
I need a gluten-free cinnamon bun. No, that's me. I'm the one who's always saying.
Oh, you're the one. Okay.
I'm like, hey, you guys want to, instead of a 5K, how about like a 2.5K, and then like a, some OJ, watch the sunrise. No, that's always me. And so it's great. You build this community around yourself, but these are the people that inspire me to keep going. I mean, so, the whole premise of Run Heifer Run is to just inspire other people. And nobody's been more inspired than me, because it's not, the organization is not about me. It's about everybody else. So maybe it was greedy of me. I just needed a community of people tell me get off my ass. But it resonated throughout the world. And so, we have heifers on every continent except Antarctica.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Penguins.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming soon. So do you still have cheats? Are you still a foodaholic? Is there sweets that you enjoy, or are you pretty regimented?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, I just love junk food. Like Taco Bell is, to me, I know everybody's puking, but I mean, it may be horse meat, whatever, but it tastes so good and I love it. And so Mr. Ed approves. I love junk food, so it's always a struggle, and it's a concerted decision. So my joke is really the reality. Any restaurant I go to, I have a salad and put some chicken on top. Doesn't matter if it's Italian, Mexican, doesn't matter. I just have a salad and put some chicken on top. Boring as hell, but it gets the job done. Because I have the palate of a 6-year-old boy. Like, I love Big Mac. It's just good, and I know everybody's going, but I like it. So, it's a fine balance.
All right. Talk about the Ordinarymarathonerfoundation.org and what you do with them.
Okay, so one of my dear friends, Scott Rickey, founded the Ordinary Marathoner Foundation. He has been a friend for years and years and years, and we poke fun at each other. I've met him. He's got a lovely wife. They just had a baby 2 years ago. He made this foundation basically to engage in activities and other services promoting health and fitness. So they promote that through running and other endurance sports, basically to disadvantaged or physically challenged people. So what he's doing is incredible for the community and for everybody. They have, I recently saw on Facebook, they were looking for a person with autism to train with a coach who also has autism. And through that, and you discover all these other people, and there's so many ways to inspire and help people. So if anybody feels like donating, by all means, don't donate to Run Heifer Run. Go over to the Ordinary Marathoner Foundation and give them $20, give them $100, give him whatever you can. It's an amazing foundation. It's new. He used to be a big financial tycoon. He quit his job to live his passion, and I couldn't be more proud of him. And I support everything he does. He's just a good guy. Don't tell him though, because I tell him I don't like him. Oh, hello.
About that. Talk about a guy like that's David Goggins. Tell me about the influence had on.
Well, number one, he's just nice to look at. But number two, the man is an absolute beast. Thank you. Oh, I feel good now. He's a beast. He started out overweight and decided also that this life is not for him. So he decided to lose all this weight. He became a Navy SEAL. He likes the pain. He is on a whole different level. He will go out for an ice cold swim, and people would say, how do you do this? I'm freezing. And he's like, I love it. Like he's mental. He's completely fakakta in the head, but it works for him. And he loves the pain. He's got these videos most people know, except you two didn't know who he was, but we're going to let that slide. He is an absolute authority on inspiration and weight loss and healthy living and how to overcome all those things in your life that have been absolute shit. He had a bad life from what I can recall. He had a pretty rough childhood as well. And he overcame so much. And here you got this like amazing Navy SEAL, and he's been in several of the different services in the US, and he's been the elite of the elite in all of them. And so I think you can hire him out probably for a lot of money. Hey Dave, hit me up. But you can and he can come live with you and put you on a regimen, and he's like you're a drill sergeant's worst nightmare. But man, what an inspiration. And this guy, he jogs and he loves the pain, and he jogs and he's preaching to you while he's jogging. His wife's riding along in the car taping him, and I think he's one of the most inspirational people I have ever wanted to meet. He's just incredible.
All right. His name is David Goggins. All right. And this is Daily Fish. We are talking to Melissa Kahn. We call her the Joan Rivers of Twitter. You can follow her at MelissaKahn7. Melissa overcame obesity and an emotional weight problem and of a dysfunctional childhood. She shed more than 100 pounds, becoming a runner. Now you can check out her site. It's called Run Heifer Run, which is at runheiferrun.com. where she helps other people find a healthy lifestyle. She also helps out with the Ordinarymarathonerfoundation.org. Melissa, this has been so much fun. Do you have any final comments for Fish and me as far as what we need to do to wake up and make the show better?
Well, Fish needs to clean up the nose hairs a bit. You got some boogers going on there, buddy. Yeah, there you go. Much, much better. No, you guys are great. I really appreciate the opportunity to come hang out with you. And I feel like a third wheel woman would actually make your show a little bit better. So contact my agent and see what you guys work out.
Yeah.
Are you a tough negotiator?
What's that?
Are you a tough negotiator?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
The
All right.
toughest.
Yeah, a little bit. You're a little bit mashugana for me, but I like it.
I get this a lot.
Yeah. Veka the Dachin. I'll tell you what. You know what, Melissa? Even you're an inspiration. Okay.
Thank you.
You're terrific. Well, your story is great, and you're one of the best guests we've ever had on here, and we're going to have you on again.
I would love it. As a matter of fact, Scott Rickey, the founder of the Ordinary Marathoner Foundation, he had a podcast, and I actually took it over. It was so great that people just started tuning in for me, and I was kind of pushing him out, like, hey, well, it's my podcast now. So he's still a little bit bitter, so I got to approach that gingerly. But yeah, I would love to come back. You guys are fun and cool and all that good stuff. So
and you can push us out too. All right.
Yeah, push us out. We don't care.
Yeah, it's all good.
Melissa, thank you so much. Thanks for the laughs and the inspiration. We'll have you back.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great one.
Appreciate it. You too. All right. Coming up, Fish and I are going to wrap things up. Hey, you need a great golf getaway? The Myrtle Beach Golf Trail has dozens of courses along the Carolina coast. Set up an entire trip for yourself, your family, or a bunch of friends. The site is myrtlebeachgolftrail.com. You can play here year round. All right. Hey, Fish, before we go, you're going to be on with JT and Raiders Nation tomorrow. Kind of a little bit of a sad time. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. First of all, Melissa was great, and I don't want to go from her because she's so fantastic and what a beautiful girl to a Debbie Downer like this. But this is the black hole. This is, your wife knows about the dog pound in Cleveland. Well, in there, it's kind of a tough shot, is a guy named Rob Rivera. Rob Rivera started the black hole in 1995 when the Raiders went back to Oakland from Los Angeles. And I don't want to get too emotional here, but he passed away a couple of days ago. And JT the Brick, locally, 9:20 a.m. Raiders Radio is going to do a tribute to him tomorrow. I'm going to be on calling in. And I can't tell you what a great person he was. Whenever the players come on the field, they were from Coach Gruden to Derek Carr to Rich Gannon. They always went up and said hello to this guy. Great family man, great father, great Raider fan. And I'm going to break up right here. It was just a person, and it's a sad loss. We lost two great Raider fans. We lost Ricky Ricardo, won the best bar in the history of Oakland called Ricky's. He died earlier this year. Now we lose this guy. So, you know what? Take care of your bodies. Take care of everything, and say a prayer. Rob was a great guy.
Here's a toast to Rob.
Rob Rivera, Raider Nation.
There we go. Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, we got another great show coming up next week. We don't know who we're going to have on because we got so many people that want to get on. So hopefully we'll find out, and hopefully we might do a Daily Fish hook for you as well. And folks, just remember, Daily Fish is live from Vegas and Myrtle Beach. You can catch us on Facebook at daily.fish.5, DBNA Television, on Roku TV, Amazon Fire, and soon Apple TV, the DB&A Television website, which is at dbandatelevision.com. Also YouTube, and you can write to us at dailyfish1, the number 1, at gmail.com. You can post to Facebook at daily.fish.5. Better yet, record yourself on camera. We might put you on the show, make it short and sweet. Email us at dailyfish1@gmail.com. Also, we are on the Myrtle Beach Golf Channel, so you can watch us there as well. We are all over the place, Fish. I mean, people are getting tired of us, don't you think?
No, just you. So, you gorgeous, handsome man. We're going to try and put together a show next week, John, talking about two films, if we could pull it off, that were big, kind of like a generational film like The Graduate was in the 60s. Fast Times at Ridgemont High came out in 82. Right after that came a film called Valley Girl. So we're going to try and have on some of the cast members from both of the movies and talk about what it meant, to belong in the 80s type of high school theme and what happened back then with drugs and sex. And that works out for us, sort of like we do at Real TV, talk about something that happened years ago that was just, racial and great and took over, the medium. So we'll see if we can pull that off. And again, I mean, we just think when we come on the show next week, next Tuesday, John, this is it. Baseball's got 5 games to go, and we're going to know a lot more about your Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Yankees.
Yeah, it's going to be good. There's a lot of good stuff coming up. Plus, we'll have the Ryder Cup being over, and so there's a lot of good stuff. And you think about it. I only got about a minute left here, but the drama last week in football was just incredible. And
I've never seen it.
I can only imagine what this weekend's going to be.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier in the show. We just the afternoon games. I mean, it was sort of a letdown last night with Green Bay and Detroit because it was kind of a blowout. But for the first half, I'm saying, my God, Detroit's really making a game out of it. But no, and it's just, this is our time of the sports. We say it in every podcast. It's just guess what? The Golden Knights, I think, have a preseason game next week, and the NBA training camp start in 2 weeks. So, take us out of this, John. We're going to add more. I cannot wait for this.
Yep. Special thanks to Melissa Kahn. Also, John Hardison, the Daily Fish Hardline. We're going to have him on every week, so make sure to tune in for that. All right, Fish. See you next week, buddy. Folks, thanks for tuning in.
Love you, buddy.
Love you too, pal.